Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we'll have the latest on Carlos Baleba. Is he coming to Old Trafford from Brighton? We'll get into all that. Plus, Rasmus Hojlund, what's happening with his move to AC Milan? Alejandro Garnacho, is he going to Chelsea? And if he is, when is that going to happen? Plus, Donnarumma, should we really be so sceptical about Donnarumma coming to Manchester United? Well, let's get into it. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and the weather's pretty sunny, to be honest with you, so you won't need your parkers. Loads of stories to get through, but before we do, make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe. Want to get to 820,000 subscribers. We smashed through the 800,000 mark. Let's get to 820,000. Let's get straight into the Carlos Baleba news, or the stories, or the updates, or the rumours, or whatever you want to say about this. I had this yesterday in my news, and I think we're going to have it for the rest of the week, to be honest with you. That is the main story doing the rounds now in Manchester United. It seems that Brighton are playing hardball. There's various reports from different papers that Brighton want around 110, 150 million even. Although some reports say it's as low, I would call it low, as around 100 million for the Cameroonian midfielder. Look, we know he's a hugely talented player. We know that Manchester United are in for him. We know that Manchester United want him. And we know that he fits right into this system. He's exactly what we need. We also know that Brighton sold Moses Caicedo, I think, for around 115 million. I think that's where that number has come from. However, it was different with Caicedo because obviously you had Liverpool and Chelsea bidding for him. This time it feels as though Manchester United are the only ones in for him. However, there was a story, I think I read this from, I think it originated from Court of Side, that Newcastle were looking at Baleba. Did they ever learn? Seriously, Newcastle need to just forget about players that Manchester United are interested in. You think they would have learned after Cunha? They didn't. They still went for Mbumo. They didn't get him. United did. Then they went for Sesko. They didn't get him. United did. Now they're looking at Baleba. Do me a favour. Normally I'd be a little bit concerned when a club like Newcastle, who've obviously got a lot of money to spend, are in for someone, but now it's just getting a bit embarrassing. Get involved in the chat in the comments, let us know what you think. There was a report, I read this in the evening news, I think it's via Marca, that Manchester United were basically ready to do the deal, ready to do put a bid in, and they'd already spoke to the player. So we'll have to wait and see how close it is to being done, but it does feel like Manchester United are in that sort of preparing a bid stage, or a bid is imminent, I think is the term you can use with the reports that we're having. I would expect a bid to come in. I mentioned this yesterday, I'm going to mention it again. What United have done this summer is we've spoken to the players first, or the players' representatives. It seems that tapping up is no longer a thing. We've spoken to the players' representatives. If we find out that the player is keen on a move to Manchester United, as we did with Cunha, as we did with Mbumo, as we did with Benjamin Sesko, then we put a bid in, or then we start negotiating with the club. It feels like it's that way around, rather than we go at the club first, make a bid, then see if that bid is accepted, then speak to the player and see if he wants to come to Old Trafford. Let me know what you think about that approach, and also whether you think we're going to get Carlos Baleba, whether you think he would fit into this team, and whether you think anywhere near 100 million is too much. I don't think it'll end up being that. I think if we do get him, we're going to end up spending around 75, 80 million, which is a lot of money, don't get me wrong, but I think that Brighton might just be playing hardball. I think if you push it, though, you can maybe get them to lower that fee, because let's face it, he's had 2 seasons in the Premier League, he's done very well, 21 years old, but if Brighton were to sort of triple their money on him, I think they paid around 25, 26 million for him. That's good business. Also, for his point of view, I think he'd get a big increase in his wages. Various reports on how much money he's on wages-wise. Some have it as low as, I say low, as low as about 15k. I don't think it's that low. I think around the 25, maybe even 40 grand mark might be about right. Manchester United are going to offer him at least 150 grand, you would think. So he's at least going to triple his wages. So that would be a good deal for him, and hopefully a good deal for Brighton, one that can get done sooner rather than later. Watch this space, as always. Another story that won't go away. Donnarumma. I have stood here, right here, and said in the past, of all the stories that isn't going to happen, this isn't going to happen the most. And I still am sceptical about it, I'm not going to lie. However, if I was Stephen Howson doing the transfer review, I would have gone from a 0 out of 10 to a 3 out of 10. I think there might be something in it a little bit, right? I'm not going to stand there and say, of all the things that's going to happen, this isn't going to happen the most. I still, if you ask me 50-50 or, yes or no, probably no. But it's not beyond the realms of possibility, because it's just not going away. So maybe I'm thawing on that one a little bit. The latest sort of news and reports, for starters, there's one news report I read in the Mirror, which is just nonsense, which is Ruben Amorim signing autographs, getting asked, are you going to sign Donnarumma? And he just laughs. And the Mirror, I think, have ran a story on it. That doesn't mean anything. However, there is the fact that PSG have brought in, is it Lucas Chevalier from Lille, the goalkeeper from Lille. Now, he's a younger goalkeeper, but Donnarumma's young. Donnarumma's 26, is he? And I think Chevalier's he's in his early 20s. So it's not like you go, oh, well, Donnarumma, he's only got a few more years left in him. If he stays at PSG, then he could stay there and play for another 10 years. However, there does seem to be a little bit of fire to that smoke of the idea he isn't going to stick around, he isn't signing that deal. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. The other problem you've got is he might want to leave PSG, but he might not want to come to Manchester United because he's just won the Champions League. He might want to stay in the Champions League. And let's face facts, practically any club in the world would have Gianluigi Donnarumma. So United could face competition there. We'll have to wait and see on that one. But I'm not as sceptical about that one as I was a few weeks ago. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat and the comments. Do you think that Donnarumma could come to Manchester United? Do you think he'd be the right player for Manchester United? I think it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it, to be honest with you? If you can get a player like Donnarumma, then you'd have him. But the big question is, can we get him? Ineos have obviously done some bits in the transfer window this summer. That would be a massive bit. Talking of goalkeepers as well. Andre Onana, it looks like he could be playing in a behind closed doors game this week. There was talk. I think I've seen it on the internet, so it must be true. I think I've seen it on Twitter. I think Centre Devils, a few other accounts are posting it, saying that basically United want to get some minutes into the legs of Benjamin Sesko and see where Andre Onana is as well. We do this quite a lot, don't we? We've been at him. We was at one of the games in behind closed door games once, and it looks like that could happen again, where United could have a game this week ahead of the Arsenal game. Probably give someone like Sesko and Andre Onana, maybe just give him 45 minutes just to get him used to the pitch if you have it at Old Trafford, which you probably will do, and just see where they're up to in terms of the fitness and whether they're ready to play against Arsenal this Sunday. So, it'll be interesting to see, because there's a decision to be made there on Andre Onana. He hasn't played any pre-season. He's had this injury. Bayern Days come in. He's been all right. Some people have been criticising him, others saying he's actually been a little bit more reliable than he has been in the past. Let me know what you think. Get involved in the chat in the comments. Obviously, Tommy Eaton's played as well. I doubt he'd start against Arsenal. If it's not going to be Andre Onana, I'd expect it to be Bayern Day, but you never know. A couple of other outgoings as well with Rasmus Hojlund. It feels like there's conflicting reports here on just how close he is to joining AC Milan. Some people are reporting it. I think Romano was talking about this yesterday, and I had it again in my news yesterday. Sorry to keep referencing it, but a lot of the stories were covered yesterday, and they're sort of building on from that. That's saying that AC Milan could be in for him, and that it could be a loan move, and that would be an option to buy. At the end of that loan move, there's other papers reporting that maybe, I think Manchester News and others have had it, that maybe that could be a permanent move. There's others saying that Rasmus Hojlund, and the Express was saying Rasmus Hojlund doesn't want to leave, that he wants to stay and fight for his place. However, he's being told that he's surplus to requirements and he isn't going to get any minutes. So it's just trying to sort of pick your way through all that and see where this leads. To be honest with you, it does feel as though Rasmus Hojlund's time at Manchester United is coming to an end. It does feel more likely at this stage that it's going to be a loan move with an option to buy. However, these things can change. We'll have to wait and see. I think ideally, from a United point of view, if you wanted to use that money to sign someone, then you'd want him on a permanent move. But if it's a loan move, it's not the end of the world, because he might go on a loan move, he might smash it, and you might go, actually, we could still use him. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Rasmus Hojlund's still got a future at United? Do you think he's been unfairly treated at Manchester United? Let me know what you think. Another player that could be going out is Alejandro Garnacho. He's done an Instagram post. I think he was posing in the gym with a sort of, what is it, an hourglass emoji or whatever, an egg timer emoji. People saying that's indicating, I think some papers have use that as a basis of a story indicating he's on his way to Chelsea. I mean, he probably is on his way to Chelsea, but I don't think that Instagram post tells us that. But we'll have to wait and see. Talk of him going for around 50 million. Maybe that money can be used to bring in Carlos Baleba. Who knows? We'll wait and see. Don't forget, if you're not doing already, to get involved in the chat and the comments. Hit that like button and give us a subscribe. We're going to be back later on today. We've got the Paddock Podcast later on today, so make sure you check that out. I'm Jay Motti. This has been the Paper Talk outside of pretty mild Old Trafford. Thanks for watching.